That should be working. Okay, that looks like that's working now. Yep, that's working. Okay, that looks like that's working now. Right, good. All right. So we just got one more person to join us, then we'll get started. We're nearly ready to start now. Okay. For those that have just joined us on YouTube, welcome to Easton Parish Council meeting. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. That's a big coffee to keep you awake, Julian. Okay. This is just helping someone get online, and then we'll be ready to go. Yeah, Stuart's now coming in. Okay. Right, got everybody. Okay, and it's now past. Excellent. So we'll get started. I'll say welcome to everyone. Welcome to those of you who've joined us on YouTube. I know we do have a following now who watches, which is very good. So we've got a couple of apologies tonight. Francis, could I have the apologies? If you can unmute, please.
So yeah, Martin, Betts, and Margaret Dewsbury can't make it.
Okay, thank you. Any declarations of interest for items on the agenda not recorded elsewhere, and any requests for dispensations? Nope. Excellent. Okay. Next thing we've got to do is receive and approve the minutes of the meeting of the 5th of October. We've had quite a bit of time with these minutes. Francis was really good. He got them out fairly fast. Hopefully you had a chance to have a read through and that you're happy with them. Anyone got any comments they want to make?
Yeah, Peter, I'm not actually shown as present on the minutes, and I was present.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, Mark.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'll make sure you're definitely on that, Mark. I'll get them out with that on.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know why you were excluded.
Right. Okay, so anything else? No. I need someone to propose the minutes?
I'll propose.
Mark's proposing, seconder?
I'll second.
All in favour?
Sorry, who was that? I didn't catch that. Jan. Sorry, who seconded that, Peter? Just
I
so I've
did.
got that. Sorry?
I seconded.
Okay, fine.
And all those in favour? Yep. Okay. Okay, matters arising from the minutes not on the agenda elsewhere for information only. Do we have anything that anyone wants to raise? Nope. Excellent. Okay, now we're moving on to item 5 for resolution to co-opt a new councillor. Well, what I want to explain is how we met. I met Stuart and do an explanation of that. You might feel a bit caught into this, but I think he will enjoy it. Well, I was sitting in my dining room and I suddenly saw these two suspicious looking individuals in the back field behind us. So I decided to pop out and investigate as I do. And I called to them because they'd managed to move away from me quite quickly. And they looked very suspicious. So I called out and I had this young lady's voice go, "We're from the college." And I must admit, I just thought, yeah. Everyone says that, prove it. And they got closer and the young lady kept flashing this tiny little badge. We're talking a good 100 meters away, going like this. And I will be honest, I did say, no, my eyesight's not that good. Get a bit closer. And lo and behold, it came that it was two members of staff looking and checking the backfields. And I think we do need to mention something important here. One of their tasks they were checking for is the state of the field, their property, and what people are dumping on it. And I think that's something that needs to be raised within the grapevine, Francis.
Yeah.
I don't know if all the individuals, so we'll speak to Stuart about that a bit later. But there are a number of properties who think it's fine to dump their rubbish into property that doesn't belong to them, whether it's grass cuttings or I think in one stage it's part of a shed, so that needs to be mentioned, that it's unacceptable behavior and it's not neighborly to do that sort of thing. So Stuart and I got chatting. We got chatting about a number of issues, and Stuart was telling me of his passion for the village. So I thought, right, now we'll catch you out. Well, so I suggested he join the parish council, and he said, "Oh, that would interest me." So I'm going to hand you over to Stuart for him to tell you a little bit about himself, and then hopefully I can propose him and someone will second him and we will co-opt him, but it'll be up to Stuart if you like what Stuart says. So Stuart, if you unmute, please. No, you're not unmuted yet. There's a couple of ways of doing it. You can hold down your space bar.
Yeah.
And if you hold,
Yeah, I'll hold that. Yep. Okay. So can you hear me now, everybody?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm Stuart Renders. I live in the village of Easton, Woodview Drive, so not far from Peter. And as Peter said, we met rather fortuitously and then exchanged a couple of emails as well as having a nice chat. And my feelings are that, as I've had a lot of involvement with bits and pieces around the village, seeing what's happening, looking at the planning, looking at the detritus, looking at the way people behave around the village. And I think that, we need a united front to try and change things, not just the parking, but the fly tipping, the rubbish that's tipped. Look at the planning proposals. I think that, they want to build all these houses. There's no infrastructure. I don't think there's enough forethought with it all. And I know Peter's very passionate about that. So I think there are a lot of issues that we need to deal with, village boundaries. I say we live in a village because we want to live in a village, and we don't want to be swamped, particularly if, as I say, if the infrastructure is not there, road networks, doctors, housing, etc., and the type of people that may be brought into the village if we allow, willy-nilly housing to just go on. So as I say, there are a huge number of issues. I work at the college. I think that, in my opinion, I don't want it really minuted, but I don't think the college is telling us everything. If I look at certain issues, and I think we need to try and protect what we've got, and keep it as agricultural land. It's easy if you look at Honningham, you look at what they're doing, proposals there for thousands of houses, development springing up everywhere. And I'm very passionate about retaining, the village as it is, but also improving it in as many ways as we can. So that's how I am about it.
All right, well, excellent. Stuart lives not far from myself, so we'll have 3 people Marlingford Road. So I think we're catching up on Marlingford Way now on numbers.
Yeah, it's not about the numbers, Pete, it's the quality.
Okay, so I'd like to, because we've got a couple of vacancies and we have them openly advertised, and they've been advertised for a long time, and we are in a position where we can co-opt individuals on. What I'd like to do is propose that Stuart is co-opted onto the parish council to work with us for the betterment of our community. So I would like to see if I've got a seconder for that.
I can second that one, Peter.
Yep, Mark Hayton seconding. And so I'd like to see all hands in favour of that. Okay, excellent. So Stuart, you're now joining us on the parish council. We'll get you all the booklets and all the other stuff that you're going to need. And Francis will talk to you later on about training and all the other bits about becoming a parish councillor.
Chair's training, Peter. Chair's training.
Yeah, second that.
Hey, Mark, you've got chair on coming up next. You've done the chair's training. Okay, so we're moving on from that. We have no adjournment for public consultation. No one has asked to join us tonight or have any problems they want to raise. I wasn't sure if we might have got some people with regard to the vandalism in Kennedy Close and the edge of Woodview Road, which is a bit annoying. I'm not sure how far that vandalism goes down. I don't know if Stuart, you happen to know?
Yeah, are you talking about on the pavements and in the road? Yeah, it's actually sort of on the boundary and borders around my house, and it goes just slightly past, about 2 or 3 houses past where I live. So probably down to about number 4 Kennedy Close, and also on the opposite side of me, which would be near number 1.
All right, okay.
Do you have any details of that?
Yeah, the details are that I've seen it's orange markings on the road. I'm assuming it was for Halloween, pumpkin marks on the road, on the pavement, in the road.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'll wash off, and it's but again, it's just something that's happened, doesn't it? There weren't many children out at the weekend, but there were some, and I'm guessing it was the older children who were probably a bit annoyed at not having many people answer their doors, etc.
Yeah, okay.
Just to add to that, Stuart, I spoke to a resident today who phoned me on this. They tried to remove the markings from the pavement. Whatever's used is it doesn't wash off because she tried. So she's going to get hold of County Council through Fix My Street and raise a complaint, try and get it cleared. through them. She's going to take some photos of it and get it up there and registered, logged as a number, as an issue to be resolved.
It is, I think a paint has been used, so it is actual vandalism, rather than someone just trying to think of Halloween. Hopefully there'll be some parents out there will have noticed their orange paint has gone missing, and maybe like to be forthcoming and helping to get it cleaned off. And we'll also check to see if anyone's got any CCTV footage, because there's lots of people who've got Ring doorbells now, so we'll get people to check if there's any CCTV footage of the culprits who did it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Peter, to interrupt you. I'll happily, if they want to try and clear it up, I'll happily help. As I say, it's near my house. I'm going to admit I didn't find it at the time too offensive, but I'm happily to clear it up because I thought it would just wash away. So,
Yeah.
but it's still there today.
Yeah, it's not about it being offensive. If they believe they can just do that sort of thing, what else will they do next? So they have to learn that the village is for everyone, not just for a few, and to commit vandalism is inappropriate behavior. Okay, so moving on from that one, update on the sale of Durham Road housing development. Well, as you're probably aware, COVID slowed everything down, gave Orbit lots of scares and worries about what they were doing. But I'm pleased to advise that the draft planning agreement has been produced, and that's with Orbit now and with ESCO. They are just picking up on one minor query. It's about slow worms. Even though we haven't got slow worms on our site, they're on the Chestnut site, the site next to us. They've just put a remark in there that they would like to see that the builders take care not to stand on them and things like that, from what I understand. So there's just a little comment in there. So they're just clarifying exactly what they want them to do over protecting the slow worms if they come onto the land. So we've got that one. The section 106 Bidwells are pushing MP Law to hand over the section 106 so that it can be viewed and then go forward for signing. The only other thing that's happened with regard to it is that Orbit have been made aware of the landfill pit next door to us, and some concerns over the venting of some gases and some perched water on that site. But from what I understand, they've been given the latest report by Golding, which shows it's all in hand and is being dealt with. RG Carter are the ones managing that site and are in charge of it. Okay. So anyone got any questions they want to ask with regard to that?
What sort of time scale are we looking at the minute, do you know?
Well, I was hoping before, I must say politely, our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, came up with his wonderful non-lockdown plan. We're back in limbo. We could be back in limbo. I'm hoping that we can get things sorted by Thursday. That would be nice. It's touch wood and a fair wind. But what we've got to do is get MP law issuing the section 106. That's then got to be sent around the different parties for signing. I've seen a draft in the past, and it was such a basic document. It's not a problem. It's just about phasing to make sure everything phases right. It's making sure the conditions, and they've only had this one little query about these slow worms on a neighbouring site, which is fair enough. But we all knew there were slow worms in the vicinity, so we're just being ecological and sound in what we're doing. So I'm hoping, I'd like to see before Thursday things were sorted, but I can't promise anything. And then this lockdown, it creates uncertainty in the marketplace, because some businesses are staying going and then others are closing down. At the moment the colleges are staying open, but they'll start spreading it around everyone, and I would think within 2 weeks they'll suddenly realize and close the colleges down, and we'll come out of lockdown February or March. That's the unfortunate reality of it. So I would love to give you an answer, Mark, because I want.
I appreciate you can't be hitting a nail on the head at the end of the day, but I mean, if with one thing and another, through no fault of anybody's, this is way beyond where we ever expected it to be, and it would be nice. I appreciate what you're saying, but at the end of the day, most of the people you're talking about are working from home anyway. They're office based and they're at home, so I don't see any reason why it couldn't get pushed along now to get finalised.
My understanding is that every single day, David Harvey, our land agent, is, apart from weekends, is on the phone to ESCO, and then ESCO in turn are on the phone to Bidwell's and Orbit and everyone else. They have to be to make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm sure it will. It's just we're living in difficult times at the moment. It's the uncertainty of our times are what's causing the problems. But I'm sure it'll be addressed soon. These houses are needed because they're going to be good quality housing and a good proportion of affordable homes in there. So unlike other building sites, we've actually got our full allocation of affordable homes because we're not out to try and take massive profits on anybody. We're getting a fair price, and we're getting the fair number of affordable homes, the full 28% allocation, where many other sites don't do that. So it will move in due course. Sorry, I can't.
No, it's fine.
Anyone else want to ask anything? Nope. Okay, next one is Persimmons housing development. Well, I've spoken to Persimmons. They are looking to have all their plans in by mid-November, to the end of November, and they were looking to have South Norfolk take it to committee in January. I must admit I did laugh when she said that. I said, I don't think so. You've got Christmas in the way. You'll be lucky probably February. And I think with this lockdown, it's more likely February. Might even push to March. But they've only got until November 2021 to sort all the planning out. Otherwise, the whole application falls over. I have been told by Persimmons that they are no longer willing to accept phase 5 of the development. I don't know what will now happen over that. Kaylee's surprise has come to fruition, And I think that Persimmons don't want to get involved with the uncertainties in these times with regard to that one. So that's just going to, they're looking at the deal without phase 5. So I don't know where that is. So I'm not privy to that. And I'm sure the consortium won't tell us anything either. So we just have to wait and see what happens with regard to that one. Has anyone got any question? Oh, the other thing is the roads, all the areas that we've raised, they are redesigning an awful lot. At the moment, they're in deep discussions with Norfolk County Council Highways and South Norfolk over shared roads. There is no longer going to be these long drag distances. People will be able to, from now on, be able to take their bin outside their front and it'll be collected. So none of these 150 meter drag distance to a communal area to put your bin. So they're not having those long private drive areas at the front or at the back of the site. So that, I think we're making an awful lot of changes to how Persimmons normally behave on a development. And maybe that's causing them some difficulties, that they're actually having to build something that people will want to live in. And they're not used to that. And of something where we're looking for quality. My understanding from talking to Alison Cornish, all the garages will be at least the minimum size of 6 meters by 3 meters. Anything under 6 meters by 3 meters is against policy. Even if it's 1 centimeter, it's still against policy. So we will be insisting the 6 meters by 3. They are aware of that. And she's promising me that all the garages will be to the minimum, at least the minimum size standard, which is good news. What else? I think that's about it where we are. Has anyone got any questions they want to ask?
I was just going to make comment that it's nice to see it's easier to change on design for a better community than it is once bricks and mortar come out of the ground, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. I think we've highlighted a major issue within Norfolk County Council and South Norfolk District Council, and I think Broadland as well, failing in their duty, their public sector equality duties since 1995. And as we're in a public forum, and this is going live on streaming, we do make the point that anyone who's now living in a house with a shared road and maybe have had an accident or something, they may be wanting to talk to their solicitors about the legality of the road that they're living on, and whether Norfolk County Council or the district councils have to provide the money to fix the road to make it safe and to comply with the law. So that's a little extra one that's come out of there. So yeah, I think what we've been doing and the work that we've been doing and the time that all of us have put into it is paying off. Does anyone else want to add anything in? Nope. Okay, so we're moving forward from there. I resigned as chairman of the Community Land Trust because I can't do everything. So I'm sitting on the board at the moment, but we've got a new chairman, and I'll hand over to Francis and Dave, who's going to give you an update on the AGM.
Dave, do you want me to start, or do you want to talk about your kind of role as the spokesman for the parish council on the CLT board Oh, can you hear? I don't know if Dave can hear. Can you hear us, Dave?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Did you want to have a word, or do you want me to kick off?
No, you kick off.
Okay. Well, David's kindly going to act as the council spokesman on the board of the CLT. So the CLT, with its new board members, has Peter and Jan on, but they are on as individuals. But Dave will be on representing the council, and that's really just to ensure that when, for instance, the minutes are produced from the meeting, he can report back to the council that everything in those minutes is as was said at the meeting, and it just takes that off Jan and Peter to have to do that. And it's really recognising the fact that the parish council has a, if you like, a corporate input into the CLT. Likewise, Margaret Dewsbury is going to be on the CLT as well, representing South Norfolk Council in a similar way. And I think it's useful having that. So we have 7 other members, as well as Peter and Jan. So we have April, Caden, and we have Joe. I can't remember her surname now. That's no good, is it? I have to look at the minutes. Apologise to that. Joe, I was going to say Joe Burridge. I think yes, Joe Burridge, Benjamin Moy, and Julia Moy, and then Alan Mole, who has come on to the council at a meeting before, is going to be the chairman. So that's our 7, and we may be able to have additional members co-opted on in the same way we do with the council. That's within the rules of the CLT, up to a maximum of 12. So there are another 3 places that could be filled by either corporate positions or individuals, but that's for the board to work through what they want to do there. All the paperwork has gone off to the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, so that basically the CLT is up and running as a bona fide organisation now. So we're just really waiting for the monies to be agreed off by the council as to what's going to come into the CLT with the, if you like, the terms of the use of that money. But that will all, I mean, that's at future parish meetings to discuss, I guess, Peter, in terms of what the parish council wants to do, what it wants to attach to monies given over to the CLT, and then how the CLT will use that money. Well, obviously, they've got constraints on that, but there'll be the communication between the 2 organisations. So although we've got some members who are the same on both organisations, we do have to be very clear about the legal responsibilities each organisation has. And I'm going to be discussing part of that with Jan in the next, well, we're going to do it tomorrow, aren't we, Jan, to look at how the role of the secretary will work and just how the admin of the 2 organisations will work with each other. I'll probably said quite a lot there, Dave. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
Oh, you've covered it all, I think. Did you want me to read out Peter's annual report?
Yes, by all means.
Okay. This is from Peter Milliken, who's the ex-chairman of the CLT. In the last 12 months, we established ourselves as a community benefit society and held a successful launch in which we attracted over 40 members, and we continue to grow our membership. We worked with South Norfolk Council to the principle and will lead the way within the region for CLT-owned housing to form part of the affordable housing mix with any new development within our community. We are working to secure the necessary funding to secure ownership of 4 one-bedroom flats and a 2-bedroom property on a new development site on Durham Road. We have created a financial model to help in the setting of rents that are truly affordable to the residents of our community. We're in the process of agreeing tenancy terms which support residents while they establish themselves on the property market. CV19 has slowed down the progress of what we would like to achieve. We are hopeful that we can be back on track in the near future. We are working with South Norfolk Council and the Parish Council to also secure all the playgrounds within Easton as part of the Easton CLT, which in turn will offer a higher level of protection from future development within our community. That's it.
Okay, that's great stuff. Does anyone want to ask anything of Francis or Dave with regard to the CLT? No, I think you chaps have covered it completely. Well done. Now moving on to the next item, which is a planning item, which is 2020/1150. It's for reconsideration. It was 15 Marlingford Road. I have to report on this one that South Norfolk, through they tell me a technical glitch, has accepted and issued planning permission without receiving our comments. They say their computer system had a glitch and they approved it with conditions. Having looked at what was done, I think we'd have probably approved the changes that were made. However, we would have asked for it to be conditioned that the materials were the same as existing. I have checked with the planner if she has conditioned it in that way, and unfortunately she said no. But she thought that on the original application, what they said was in line with that keeping. We will wait and see. I believe on this one we should send. I've thought a lot about this. I was thinking ways of dealing with it. We need to make. I believe we need to make comment so that this doesn't happen again. And I think we need to make comment to the senior planning officers at South Norfolk to look at their technical side of what is going on to make sure this never happens again. Anyone got any views on this?
I think a strong letter, as you said, Peter, should be there as a complaint. I've looked at the plans. It's sort of just within our boundary of accepting it. However, 3.5 metre extension at the front and not at the back is not in keeping with the rest of the property in line. Although it's set back from the main row, it will push it out considerably in front of the neighbours.
Sorry, Mike, can you just clarify that?
The extension at the front of the house, which the new planning is what I read on the planning, is 3.5 metres.
Wouldn't that say 2.5 metres, to be honest?
Oh, well, I misread that then. Apologies for that.
I'm sure.
I only got into it tonight because I could not, for the last week or so, get into that actual plan application at all.
It's very slow because of how many documents there are on it now, but it's 2.5 in front of me.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
It's still going to be
The wrong side.
fairway in front of the neighbour's property.
Unfortunately, we are where we are with this one.
I thought there were rules in place about the building extending out of the front of the building, because it was asked to planning and building.
Yeah, there is planning regulations with regard to building in front of the building line. Unfortunately, this application has been granted for whatever technical reason or whatever, I believe that a very strongly worded letter with asking for a full and formal investigation of what took place.
Mhm.
And we will require a copy of that investigation report.
Mhm.
And because it does go against, potentially against parts of our neighborhood plan, I think we could have probably just about, as Mike says, just about accepted it, but with conditions.
Yeah.
And
I just think on Mike's point about the building line, looking at the block plan, the neighbouring properties sit forward. So that brings building line forward
They do, but not that much.
more than 2.5 metres.
but it's something that we should have been able to look at, discuss, and we haven't had the opportunity to verify that. So we need, so Francis, everyone's happy with us doing that letter? Anyone dissenting from that course of action? Nope. Okay, Francis, if you can do that copy of the letter to both Mark and myself, please.
Yeah, okay.
Do any other councillors want a copy of that letter?
Well, I think you could circulate to everyone, Peter. I think that'd be a way forward, because we're all involved at some point, aren't we?
Okay.
We all voted against it, so
Yeah, no
we'd
problem.
all be in on the list.
Yeah, okay. So we're moving on to the next one, which is 2020, 1710, erection of a side extension to a dwelling at number 2 Peacock Close, Easton. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share screens on this one because we need to discuss and go through this one in detail. So I'll just start with sharing of screens. Hopefully you can all see this. Everyone's able to see it?
Yeah.
This is number 2 Peacock Close. They have changed the front facade already, put on a different canopy. But we've got the side view, we can go down, we can look at the side, and we can come back to this in a little while, and then there's a driveway into it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to look at the site itself. I just need to bring up the document. And I can't seem to get it to pull up. Let me move this. And I'm desperately trying to figure out where it's gone. Sorry about that. I'll have to pull it all up again. It's not too much of a problem. So the joys of modern technology. So what we're going to look at is location. It's not that one. My apologies for this. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So can you all see this? Can you see a plan?
Yeah.
No.
Just the original picture.
Oh,
Yeah, just original picture, yeah.
okay, no problems. What I've got to do is, there's something we noticed the other day, when you change different views and images, you have to then go back and reshare. Okay, so you should now be seeing this, this plan, which shows the plot and where they want to put the extension. They want to put the extension here. All right, there. So what we need to do is I'll draw up the next document. I did have all this this going. block plan. My apologies for this. All right. Can you see this document, which is an elevation document?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What they want to do is, as was shown, they want to put an extension on here, right to the footpath.
Yeah.
From the road, it would look like this. So from Durham Road, it would look like this. They want to put in 2 windows on the side, right next to the footpath. And they want to have, that's the wall, the existing wall by look of it. They want to have a door there. They have an overhang. That's what they want to do with it. It's, to me, my views are that it is not in keeping with neighborhood plan. It's the street scene. It affects the street scene badly. I don't think, I think the windows are an issue on the side. If we look back at if we look at the views of it, I don't know if you can see that. Am I back on the photograph of the building? No. All right, I'll come off that and go back into it. So you hopefully can see it now.
Yeah.
You can imagine
See that.
they want to bring out a big block right to the edge there. And I'll go right back to the road and look back down on the street scene. I think by putting a big block in here would have a negative effect on the street scene as we look at it. I don't know how people feel about this one.
Well, if the tree is staying there, Peter, you wouldn't see much of it. My only comment would be they have a window which matches the front of the house in the end of facing this end with the extension they're putting on. And the fact, and there's no overhang onto the pavement, you know, like gutters, etc. It's inboard.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to overhang onto the pavement. They would have to, because that's not their land. So they
No, but I'll just we ought to put that in because I've seen it in other areas where they have actually built to the boundary and then put the gutters and the roof on and overhung. So we ought to put that in as a concession, if or not consideration, if
condition.
Condition, I mean, yeah.
Okay. So
because the neighbours don't overlook, that doesn't overlook the neighbours. It only looks the front of the house. I personally can't see anything wrong with it, apart from if they put a window facing the road to match the window matching the other side of their house. I think then that would be part of it would look just normal. But that's my view.
yeah. Mark Cordy, do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts?
Mike's point about putting the window in the front would soften it somewhat, I believe.
That's my words. Yeah, well done, Mark. That's what I was trying to get to.
And apart from that, I haven't really got any great issues. Perhaps picking up on the not overhanging the boundary is a good point again in the conditions.
Okay. Jan?
I haven't got any issues with it. I think it'll be okay.
Okay. Dave?
Well, it looks to me as though it's going to unbalance the whole appearance of the house, but there's probably a problem for the next owner of it. I'm sure the current owners are all for it, so.
Yeah, you know, one owner, it's going to be there forever. And I think, Dave, your point is very valid. Jill, have you got anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Whatever he says. I just thought it was odd that they built it for storage, I think it said. It's an odd thing to do.
Sorry?
I think that they said in their application they want to use it for storage. It just seems like
Yeah,
a strange way to go about getting a bit of extra room.
I think it'll become an entrance from inside the property as well. I'd be very surprised if that doesn't happen. But they're not going to show
Yeah.
that at this stage.
Oh, you
Well, I
don't
didn't
need
know whether
to,
they had. They don't have to because it's internal.
Yeah. So, Stuart, you get a chance as a councillor if you want to comment.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at it and thinking the same as the gentleman said earlier. If the tree's there, I mean, they've already got a tall brick wall running away from their garden. And like you say, providing it doesn't encroach over the path at all, and it's in keeping with the front of the house. But it'd be quite nice to just go and actually have a look from the road. I think, we get a great view from here, but I'm not raising any objections to it. I think that other council members have probably got more experience than me with these things.
Okay, Mark, Mark Caton,
Yeah. With the picture you're showing on the screen there, it's interesting to see the property, the other side of the road of Peacock Close there, excepting that the footpath doesn't continue down. There's a grass verge. The property to the left shown there is potentially as close as to what they're proposing with this. My comment is it's been, the project is called a side garage extension with no vehicular access. I question that a garage title is possibly misleading. It's very difficult, I believe, to contest it in terms of policy. It will change the character of the building, but that's a problem for the homeowner.
Okay. I just said, as if you look at your street scene, I'm looking at one of the planning considerations of street scene is what you've got is down this side, clear street scene down. On this side, you've got the brick wall here. I think to have a solid brick wall here, it's not going to have any windows in it. It may be better to soften it if there was a window in that side, rather than just two windows there on the side of it, to soften it down a little bit by having a big solid brick structure just there. It's not really in keeping with the rest of it here.
I'm accepting of what you're saying there, Peter. I'm not disagreeing with the softening front, but again, I'd refer you to the property to the left, which is a large expansion of brickwork.
Yeah. To be fair, it would actually make a lot of difference to the street scene. It actually would balance it out more. But that's my view. I don't think we could put a recommendation in, but I wouldn't fail it for that.
I think it would be better to put a suggestion in rather than a recommendation.
Well, yeah, recommendation, suggestion, yeah, to help it make it look nicer.
Yeah. So we can put a recommendation in that it has a window on the front.
Yeah.
To give balance to the rest of the property. Two windows on the side.
That's their choice. That doesn't make any difference.
At the end of the day, it's their choice on windows, and it's up to planners to decide whether it's accepted or not.
They're going to be very close to the public footpath. Well, they're going to be right next to the public footpath. We can make a recommendation that the glazing in it is frosted.
Oh, it'll be toughened anyway if it's on that side.
Yeah.
I would.
It's frosted. That means that people can't see. They still get the natural light in.
No, the reason you put upskirt glass in is so you can't view outwardly, not inwardly. So if you build an extension, you're viewing into someone's garden or bathroom, like my own from the back. My planning stipulated that both my upper dormer windows needed to be obscure glass. That's not so they can see in, so I can't see out.
All right.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that. No, I learned something new. So you can't see out. That's why they say it. So you can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's up to them whether they want that. So we don't need to make a recommendation. So we need to decide on a proposal. It seems like the majority want to accept it with some conditions and some recommendations. So what we need to do is work through what we're accepting it on, and what conditions we're accepting it on. Is it back to the plan now on your shared screen?
No.
Okay, I'll stop the sharing. Do you want this? Do you want the plan brought back up for the bits of discussion?
No, I don't need it. I've sort of got my head, which
Okay.
I think I need to say.
If anyone wants it back up, I'll happily put it up. No one's
I'm
coming. Okay, so the proposal would be, and this is what we got to write up, that we accept it on the condition that the wall does not go all the way to the boundary.
Well, the wall could go to the boundary, but nothing must project over the footpath on completion of the building.
Then you can't.
It's not actually showing to the boundary, it's shy of the boundary. Not by much, but shy of the boundary.
Yeah,
The roof line is.
So that's allowed for your gutters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just want to make sure that that's in there, that they don't cross the boundary.
Yeah.
No part of the extension.
Yeah, no part of the extension crosses over onto the boundary, crosses the boundary line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a recommendation would be that we have a window at the front of the property,
To the south elevation.
south elevation, so that it balances up the front of the totality of the property. We make no opinion with regard to the two side windows.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's all we need to say about it. Is anyone else wanting any other conditions added or comments or recommendations? Nope. So I need a proposer for this one.
I'll propose that.
Mike proposing, a seconder, please.
Yep.
Mark Cordy seconded. He got up first. All in favor of it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in favor, and I am against. Okay, so that's passed.
Peter, can I just ask, in terms of referring to the neighbourhood plan, I'm presuming that what we're doing is policy. Well, policy 6 is the plans to demonstrate that this scheme should preserve and enhance the village of Easton.
But
policy 8 is that they do not.
Francis, we're accepting it. So we don't need to worry about what
that neighbourhood plan.
I've just voted against it, but the majority have accepted, so we go by the majority. So we don't need to refer to the neighbourhood plan.
Okay, that's fine then. Yeah.
Accepted.
Okay.
Okay. So I've just got to go back to bring up my agenda for the meeting. Everything's going slow now. Okay. So are there any other planning applications that have come in, Francis, in the meantime? No, excellent. We've got no adjournment for public consultation. We're now moving on to financial matters to approve payments for October. I've seen them. I'm happy with them. The only one I'm not happy with is that my print cartridges weren't on there.
Yeah, you'll get them next month. Yeah.
No, we'll get them this month because it's.
Well, you'll get them this month. You'll get them signed off at the meeting. We've got the first finance and governance meeting will be on the 18th, and
yeah,
therefore you'll get your expenses if the committee decide that. Yeah,
I won't be doing any printing in the future.
They're like gold. They're like gold dust, Peter. You'd have to sell the land first before you get your money for that.
Yes, it's a lot of money's worth of cartridges I've had to pay out for, and that was put in the middle of October and wasn't actioned. So you should have got on that last list.
Well, you got a gold-plated table stand behind you. Cut the leg off it and sell that.
Yes, I could do, but I'm not going to. You're just gel of that one. You like it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You like the chandelier?
Oh yes. Do you dust it?
Pardon?
Do you dust it?
I'm staff for dusting. Okay, moving on from that one. So we approved the minutes. The costs to be agreed for the annual playground inspection. We had the report and there were a number of issues that needed to be addressed. Now we've got the costings for the repairs. We've got the costings for the bins. The 2 bins needed doing, and they're in a dreadful state and have been highlighted. So we have got costings for those, and they work out at £600 a unit. That's fully fitted with concrete bases. Do people want to see images of them?
Not really.
No.
It's not that exciting.
No, they're the big 100 litre bins where they screw them off, and they're made of this specialist plastic with a metal liner inside them.
I'll see one when they're fitted.
Pardon?
I'll see one when they're fitted.
We need to approve for fitting. From what I can gather, it's about a 4-week delay on getting them.
Probably 8 weeks.
Maybe a bit longer now.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with that, they come out of the College Heights funds, and we've got plenty of funds to cover. That's what that money's there for. So they do need replacing. They're in a dreadful condition. So are you happy that we go with black, or would you like red or pink or green or some other weird color?
I think black is probably good because we don't want them ending up as poo bins. Red ones are poo bins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a psychological. People will just go to a red bin and throw.
We could go bright yellow.
That's fine. It's like they're putting hazardous waste in them.
Yeah. So we'll go with the standard black. Okay. So everyone's happy with that. Francis, do we need a proposer on that?
Oh, we can do.
Yeah, I'll propose.
Yeah. I'll propose. I'll second.
All in favour?
Yeah.
For the bins? Yeah, unanimous. Okay, so Francis, the other stuff that needs to be done.
Okay, so I had the guys from Action Play and Leisure round to inspect. So the immediate things that we required quotes for were the fixing the picnic table in Jubilee playing field to a concrete block. Basically, at the moment, the older kids like to move the new disabled bench we've got move it around the park and use it as a step up so that they can then sit on top of the metal seat that's down near the Muga. So if we fix that via concrete block and chain, there's a cost of that of £90. We've also got the old gym equipment, which will need cutting off at ground level, because that was another thing that was shown up in the report. The cost of that is £35, but there is labour on top of 340 for those things, so that's £465 excluding the VAT that will cost to do that. So it's just really whether councillors are happy with that. I mean, we do have a budget for Jubilee playing field, which we are not spending much of. So we have basically we have £232 that we haven't spent of that budget, and then the piece of gym equipment is over at the College Heights, so that will come out of our 18,500 reserve. So it's not going to impact too much on the bottom line for this year, but it was recommended in the inspection report that those two things were done.
Okay, can I just take us back a step, because when we had gym equipment on the other site, on the Jubilee, the college took that all away and repurposed it and used it on within their site.
First project for Stuart then.
Well, not that I wanted to hint at that, but well done, Mike, for spotting that one. So it may be something that the college could help us with, because they have a construction group that may be able to sort out some of the go up and as a project remove that piece of gear, but also cut back the other pieces of the protruding pieces that are noticed on the Jubilee playing field, and we replace any blades, but not.
Yeah, I can have a word about that, because although they've moved all the construction now to the City College site in Norwich, I do know somebody that works in a construction side at the City College, so I can certainly have a word for you, and I'll make a note to see what we can do.
Excellent. So if we can get certain things, and it may be that they might think it's a good project to work out where we'd like the disabled seat and put a small concrete pad in. We pay for all the materials. Their young people get experience of actually doing a real job, a practical one, and they supply the labor, we supply the materials. That seems a nice way of doing things, if that would be allowed by the college.
I can have a word. So if you could, I'll catch up with you, or ping me an email with the requirements, and I'll then take it into the office and have a word with them directly.
All right, Francis.
I'll send the pictures from the inspection report to you, Stuart, so you've got those to review.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Could we just sort of expedite it a bit? Could we have a vote to say that if it's cheaper for the college to do it than the quote, they get on with it? If not, we revert back to plan A. So we get on with it.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. So Mike's proposing that we look to see if the college can do it. If they can't do it, we revert to plan A, which will cost us about £400 odd.
Sorry, Francis, what was the split again between College Heights and Jubilee?
Well, it's because of the way the quote is put together, Mark, it's not absolutely clear what the split of the labour is. The labour is the biggest cost element, but if you were to do it in proportion to the cost of materials, it's basically 3 to 1. So we're looking at about that's 3 to 1 in terms of the Jubilee to College Heights. So 3 to 1 on the. So we're probably looking at about 100, roughly about 100 to 240. So 100 of that would.
Francis, I don't think we can work like that on a split, because the cost of the Jubilee is the things like there's more material rather than labour needed on that one.
Then we should propose a cap to it.
Yeah.
I can go back and get that absolutely clear as to what the split's going to be between
if nothing's been spent on that, the last figures you sent me was 28375 left for Jubilee.
There is
Yeah, those are about the right figures.
we've got £232 left of that budget, Mark,
232.
because of the grass cutting.
We've also got to redo the sign we've got some signs to do. I think, we've got to be more careful of the Jubilee budget, because we've got other things we've got to do there as well. I would like to know what the split is before.
I think we need to get clarification on the split and get figures and see if the college can help in any way before we commit further, because the money's not endless.
No. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
I'll get that.
Shall we get some clarification? One, can the college help us out? And two, a clarification on the actual split of the costs, because I think there's a lot more labour involved on the side at College Heights than there is at the Jubilee. And it shouldn't be just because you see materials higher at the Jubilee that their labour costs should be higher. It shouldn't work like that. All right.
Okay.
So did you get the costs for the signs for the Jubilee?
I haven't got the cost. That was Ian who was going to do that, wasn't it? So I haven't got the cost from him yet to do that. The lamination of the actual wording. Well, I mean that won't be very much, but I've got to talk to Ian yet to just get him to come up with a sign. And I'm presuming that will be as the previous one was in white. Yeah.
What about the big signs that you wanted for no dogs and all those? Have you got the prices for those?
No, I haven't got the prices of those yet. I mean, there's signs that could be put up, and then there are the signs that are effectively at dog height, the ones on the ground that are angled up. So I'll get the price of both of those. When I've been round parks, I must admit it's more effective to look down at an angled up sign than it is to catch your eye with a sign that's placed somewhere.
But this park has got gates on it, which they shouldn't be taking their dogs through the gates. So they should be on the gates and reminding people of their responsibility to actually not take their dogs onto the children's play areas.
Yeah, I think put the signs on the gates, big and bold.
You're also assuming the dog owner is with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on Jubilee Park, they can get in anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not with the dog, they're not going to read any signs on the ground either.
No.
I think that the issue at College Heights is you've got that big expanse, and if you don't want dogs on there, then that's going to, it's almost a matter of putting a sign up, and with a post as opposed to in the ground. Yeah.
If we can, I thought we were going to get prices for the College Heights with posts and signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I will.
Yeah, because when they put some wooden ones up, they were vandalized by individuals. So we need to get proper metal posts with metal signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll bring that to the next meeting.
All right, that's great. Okay, next one is, there was a bit of confusion of this. We've agreed in item 12.3, which is costings for the village sign refurbishment. We have actually agreed to fund this to the tune of up to £2,000. Now, Mark, you've actually been round with Ian, and the damage to the sign woodwork is a little bit more serious than we had first.
Yeah, the post is absolutely completely rotten, basically. So that needs replacing. And the bit what says Easton is basically built over skirting board from what we can make out. And we've got a lovely piece of timber in my garage, hardwood, that we could replace that with, and then the post would be European oak.
Well, we got a price for that last time, didn't we? That was £900, wasn't it?
The price for the oak the last time was a repair, but we're not just repairing, we're having to replace it completely. So the price has gone up slightly. It's gone up by just under £100. It still keeps us within budget for what we want to do. Mark's got, was it Penny? Is it Penny?
That Jessica Parry quote is for all that's actually the site.
The actual,
not anything what isn't the post, basically. That's £750 plus VAT.
Yeah.
And then Ian's price for the post work, including painting of that, is £1,050, and there's no VAT on that.
Yeah, and he was before he had to do the whole thing, it was going to be £930.
Yeah.
So he's not put it up an awful lot.
No, and this now includes painting as well of the post.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's basically hasn't really changed, to be fair.
Yeah, he's doing an awful lot because he is a resident and he cares passionately about the village and his children, go to the local school and everything else.
Yeah.
And he has been in the village a long time. So, he has produced a very good price on that. So I think we have allocated the money. We just need the sign taken down. I know Ian's trying to find some time when the weather's right, and he's got the time. Is working the two together, because he's going to actually have to take the whole post out, then rebuild the whole thing from scratch. But at the same time, the actual main sign for Easton is made of metal, I understand.
Yeah.
And that will be sent off.
Yeah. Jessica Parry's going to do that part, which basically I think that gets sandblasted and repainted again. Sort of come back all gleaming, shining, looking like brand new.
Yeah. No, which will be good.
Yeah.
But it was a bit of a shock how bad, I understand from talking to Ian, it was very, very bad, the rot.
The rot is terrible, and it is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. With the European oak, you shouldn't get that rot in the future, should you?
No, that'll last a lot of years. That should see all us out.
Yes. Okay. So does anyone want to ask any questions with regard to that one?
I think we just have to be mindful also of the fact of getting the post out of the plinth. There's questions over that, isn't there? But if there's still potentially going to be £200 surplus in the budget in case. So
from talking to Ian, his first stage, what he was going to do was he chainsaws the post. He takes all the measurements, then he chainsaws the top half of the post out at an angle, takes that away. Then what he does is he then clears out the rest of the post. It may be he has to drill into the existing post to take it out that way. What he's going to try and do is avoid damaging the brick structure or the cement structure around it.
So we got a time scale?
Yes. It'll be done before in 2021.
That's fair enough.
Okay. I don't know what the timescale from the lady is.
No, I haven't asked her for timescales, to be fair. I was more concerned about when we were getting Ian's timescales. I'm hoping she can work in with us, you know, more than anything.
Yeah.
I can ask the question or
timescale.
Ask her the question.
Yeah.
It's all right because we've just got to get Ian's got to find the time when he can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Moving on from.
So we're good to go ahead with that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all good. We've already agreed all the monies towards it.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, Francis. You want to talk about councillor training for all those councillors that need training?
Yeah.
Not looking at anyone in particular.
No, we're not looking at anyone in particular. The thing with councillor training is at the moment, and it's obviously changed since the weekend as well, it's incredibly difficult to get training other than online training. So this is really just those there were before. It was it was a matter of people wanted to have physical training, you know, at a course, at a day course. And I think it was over at ACLE that PTS were doing it. But it's just really whether councillors would be happy to do do training online with an online course, which would probably have a similar feel to this, and with you know, with a kind of PowerPoint presentation with stuff coming up in the same way Peter's demonstrated today. And I've been on a recent course where there was quite a lot of physical, you know, stuff put up, pictures, quite a lot of pictures, and you can do it. I mean, that was a 2-hour course. I won't say exactly what course it was in case it incriminates me, but let's just say that it was. So that was like over 2 hours, and it does work. You can follow it. It's not too bad, but it's just whether councillors want to do that really, because we can go ahead and book it, and we have got money in the budget for that. We had set aside 300 quid to do that for this year, and with Stuart coming on, and that budget will cover that.
Yeah,
but it's just how people feel really about doing online training, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
I don't want to do it. Not online training. I'm not that technically minded anyway, so I feel that I would struggle. Okay.
Okay, David, you were another who was going to do the training.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it online originally, but now I've got my computer set up properly, I can cope with it online.
Okay. Jill, have you done your training?
I haven't, no, so I could do online as well.
Yeah, online. Okay. So I think for those who want to do online, we'll do online. And Jan's training will wait a little bit longer. It's waited a while as it is, so it can wait a bit longer.
Peter.
So I didn't hear any of that.
Said I might have resigned before I get it.
Or retired.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's sorted. Is there any training that you feel you need at the moment, Francis?
What did you say? Time management?
Yeah, time management. I saw a good course being run by Nauk for time management.
Yeah.
I have suggested that one, that Francis should go on it.
I'll propose that then.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Sure, I thought I was getting my minutes out a bit earlier now as well. All the way.
Yeah, finances were about 20 minutes before the meeting started, weren't they, Francis?
Yeah, that's all set up for, that's for the next meeting, Mark, that one.
Oh,
that's ahead of the next meeting.
Okay, let's get cracking and moving on.
Yeah.
So update on reserves position.
Right. I mean, we've got our meeting next in 2 weeks' time, when we'll look at all the budget lines. So just really the headline is we have in cash we have 54,600 in the bank. 37 and a half of that are earmark reserves. 17,000 or 17,500 is general reserves. Now, I'm forecasting that by the end of the year, we should have around 14,500. I've actually got a figure. The actual figure is 14,353 is what I'm forecasting that will be, because we've now had the second part of the precept monies in. That's also taking into account monies we are still owed for the VAT. We've had one lot of it from last year, but they seem reluctant to give us any more right now. I'll probably put the return in again. I'll put it in twice already, but I'll keep putting it in until they give us it. But be mindful that we've got that £2,000 that we've been talking about with the post to come out of that 14. Well, I think will be about 14,500. But we'll look at that in terms of where we want to go when we have the meeting in 2 weeks' time. So we're still well above the 10 grand, which would be the recommendation in terms of how much reserves we should be keeping for council of our size. So we're well above that. But obviously we did state before that we wanted to have reserves of 15 if we could. So we are, prior to getting monies in from the land sale, that's the position we're in at the moment.
Okay.
Get any money of that extra money for the mobile phones and all the rest of it?
We've got 300 we should be getting. Fingers crossed we should be getting that. Will just cover the costs of the emergency planning phone and one more card, Peter. You know, card. What do I want to call it? A kind of delivery. To all the parishioners, which I think we're thinking what we might do around Christmas, depending on where this lockdown goes.
The word Christmas is cancelled.
Yeah.
Come back next year.
Turkey's ordered, Christmas puds made. We're ready.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any correspondence that we need to deal with?
We've discussed the one about the shenanigans at Halloween. In terms of fly tipping, Gwen Cushion raised the fact that someone had dumped a fridge off Carlton Road. And actually, with you coming on, Stuart, I was just going to talk to you about whether that's actually part of
Carlton Road. You mean Church Lane?
Sorry, yeah, Church Lane. I'll get them in. I haven't taken a photo. I've got to go up and take a photo of that, and then get that. If it's, we've got to determine whether it's kind of private land or whether it's highways. I think it probably is private land.
I have seen
it's off the main road. It's, can I interrupt? It's on Facebook, I believe.
Yeah,
and it's off the main road. It's either on Alston's land or it's on college land. It's inside where the pylons are, inside the gate, on the landowner's side, put it that way. Probably about 50 or 20, 25 feet from the road.
Yeah,
and there is a couple of fridges, some empty oil, which I would look frying oil containers, and some and probably building rubble.
Yeah, there's lots of tiles and stuff there, aren't there? I've been and had a look. So yeah, college are aware of it, and they've got some other fly tipping on the farm as well. So they are looking at it. I think, but it's, you know, they're saying it's, you know, it's obviously on college land. Do they push it out a bit further so the council will take it away, or do they pay to dispose of it? And
I will point out, Stuart, by the college, that would be illegal for the college.
Yeah, because they're them fly tipping.
They would be fly tipping themselves. So because of it's being photographed, it is on college land. It is the legal responsibility of the college to remove it. If fly tippers came along and lifted it and thought they were going to do stuff with it, and then they find they couldn't and dumped it elsewhere, that's a different matter. But the college could not push it onto highways land. Unfortunately for the college, it is their responsibility in law. So as a parish council, we must discuss things lawfully of what can and cannot be done.
Yes.
And as such, it is up to the college to remove it and dispose of it. Unfortunately, they should have locked the gates.
Yeah, I think the gate was left open when.
Still open.
Oh.
It's still open and unlocked.
Yeah,
That one is not locked anymore, is it?
it was left open, or it was opened when Honningham Farms lifted the potatoes. And if you look at the mess they've made, and another issue we have with Honningham Thorpe is if you carry on along that road, we've got a field called Marsfield where there's an old ballast pit, and they're currently chipping hundreds of tons of potatoes in there.
Right, that sounds like a commercial issue that the college needs to deal with separate to what the parish council can be involved in. I would say there's a legal opportunity if the Honningham Thorpe farm didn't secure the gates, that in the tenancy agreement you may find that they're legally bound to pay for that fly tipping. So
I'll look at that tomorrow and chase it up.
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, is there anything else?
And something from a lady called Nicola Grady, who was basically complaining about the amount of, if you like, overgrown bushes, etc., on the strip of land that runs from the College Heights, the large College Heights Park, back down to Barbara Road. And she said that there were, in the past, this has been cut back, and it is more overgrown than I don't see it that often, but in the last few years, I suppose. She said that one of the street lights was covered as well by branches. I mean, I had a look, and it didn't look very covered to me, but I'm not an expert in these areas, but it didn't look as if the light was being obscured totally by branches. But there is the question, I suppose, of all those bushes in that strip of land and whether we should. I think in the past, possibly the Rangers have done some work on that.
The Rangers did, but the Rangers don't exist anymore.
So it's whether how much we want to get involved cutting all that back. There's there's a lot of it now. It runs all the way through.
College Heights money?
It can be used from the College Heights money. Yes, that can come out of there, but one has to question. They should be allowed to grow up to a certain height and maybe topped, but in a few years' time they'll be very, very pleased they've got all of that because of the monstrosities that's going to be behind them. So they may not wish that away so quickly. But that's been there from the start. That was put in and planted, and it's been there since basically the start of the development. So a lot of people came after the plants.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you've got very tall.
Well, my battery's getting low and I had to move through quickly.
All right, no worries.
And plug you in.
Oh, right.
Which I've now done.
So I think, Francis, we get a cost for trimming, and
you keep freezing on me as well.
Yep. So if we get a cost from CGM for that. That might be a horticultural thing as well that could be done by some students, because they've done stuff in the past. But unfortunately, since the city college has taken over, there doesn't seem to be any emphasis on communication with the village or communication with anyone. Now, Stuart won't say anything with regard to that, because of his position within City College, and this is going out live at the moment. So
All I would say is I would concur with that.
I would hope that City College may watch part of this video, or it's pointed out to them that a better line of communication would be appreciated, where they would actually be good neighbours rather than just taking from the village. It's about a shared community, and that's what the college in the past has been about. And unfortunately, in the last few years, it has changed since Mr. Lawrence et al. But we had hoped that City College would become good neighbours. Unfortunately, what we've seen at the present, they are not good neighbours.
What I would like to say, Peter, is one of the reasons I wanted to be on the parish council is so that I can act as a mediator and try and involve them more, because I personally feel there is a lack of communication from them regarding everything that's going on. And also I can only say so much, but I'm happy to try and broker that and be a mediator and speak to them so that they communicate with us more, because we do need more information from them.
Yep, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay, any other correspondence, Francis?
I mean, the fun thing I just wanted to know was going through the new restrictions that have come out. The playgrounds all stay open. Okay,
yeah.
then
It's a non-lockdown lockdown.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's is allowing now 900 people, or it's 923 people in their store. They used to only allow 200 odd people in their store. There's social distancing has been forgotten, so I think Norfolk will descend into the same pits of despair as the rest of the country in the not too distant future. You know, there's not much we can do about it apart from be sensible, be safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep your distance from people. That's all we can do. So, items to be raised on the next agenda. Anyone got anything extra, or just the standard culprits?
All normal.
Just the normal stuff? Okay.
Peter, sorry, do you want to say anything about changes to neighbourhood plan in the next meeting?
Yes, add the neighbourhood plan in. Just in time for Christmas, we'll mention that. But in fact, no, we won't. We'll wait until the new year.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in the new year, because the next meeting we've got to be discussing our precept, because we need to start making sure that precept is right, because one of the biggest things we may have an issue with is tax base. And you were asked to look into that. Have you looked into tax base?
Sorry, when you say tax base,
as in our precept, the tax base for working out our precept, you were going to.
Oh, what you mean to get the number? No, I'll talk to South Norfolk about.
Can we get you on that course as soon as possible, please?
We'll have that obviously for the meeting that we've got coming up on the 18th.
Yeah, and then if you can let them know when you've booked onto that course, that'd be good. Mark will join you so that he's going to be able to manage his time, so he can be the chair of the parish council in the future.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I would like the company. That would be lovely. Thank you.
I manage my time very well. I just say no.
Okay. Right. Dates that we need to remember. Finance and Governance meeting is on the 18th of November. It's a Zoom meeting. I take it that will be open to the public. They are open meetings technically. There's a total silence, Francis. You are our
I'm very happy for that to Very happy for that one to be open. Give me good practice getting it on YouTube, won't it?
Yes, so that will be solely your responsibility.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Parish Council meeting 7th of December. That's it. There is a CLT meeting. I think you've got.
Yeah, on the 11th.
On the 11th of November. Okay, well, it is now 7 minutes past 9. Thank you all very much for attending. For those watching on YouTube, thank you for your attendance and putting up with us for the last hour and a half. And we'll see you all again next month, my God willing. All right, take care and good night, everyone.